look, it's a year ago. I'm back here. So I had my Q&A already recorded, and then I started editing it. I realized I kind of sound like an asshole for like all of it for some reason. So now I'm gonna re-record it and answer your questions a bit more non-sassily. Suggestion for heavyweight bout versus video: Old Mrs. Hempstock versus Cthulhu. That's an interesting idea, and I actually would have to come up with new criteria, but that'd be a cool bracket to do. That is kind of not fair, putting Matt versus Rand. I mean, that should be like a final match or something. No offense, I just really don't want to see either of them fall, and pitting such amazing characters against each other where there are others who are lesser calibers. Man, I did these kind of random, and tournaments get broken down like that all the time. Watch March Madness, a number 1 seed goes against number 2 seed in the first round all the time. It's just how tournaments work, and I generated these pretty randomly because I didn't want my own bias to structure it so the Wheel of Time boys just came in last. It's more fair that way. At OP, please nerf. I don't have that ability. I love how objective you are throughout your reading. You notice the flaws of the main character's behavior and other details, and you're not blinded by an appreciation for the main character and his coming-of-age story. Keep making reviews of fantasy books. I am not as objective as I may come across sometimes. Sometimes I notice a flaw and just find a way to approach it logically in a way that my maybe more emotional response comes across more logically. It's a public speaking trick. But yeah, I do try to be as objective as possible. But occasionally, I just want to make a point, and I'll just approach it as objectively as possible, even though it's coming from a much more like emotionally placed base. It's ever Matt versus Kelsey or I Might Cry. Great video. You might cry. I kind of want to make it those two going against each other now, just for you to cry. I might do that. You really see the advantage of 14 versus 3 books here. Matt obviously takes the win, but I disagree with the battle part. I think you're overhyping Matt's luck. I disagree because I've seen a breakdown of the probability on Reddit of the things Matt's accomplished, and he literally pulls off feats that are like 1 in a trillion for him to have done what he did. So I'm going to go ahead and say I'm not overhyping, because consistently landing 1 in a billion, 1 to a trillion odds, you're pretty much going to win there. Glokta, not Glotka. I'm going to keep saying it my way, just because we have a number of people who pointed out and were like, you need to stop saying it wrong. I'm going to keep saying Glodka. Deal with it. So there was one guy who asked for a picture of the bracket. I leave a 4-second image of it at the end, and I'm a little mad that I went and found that for him and linked to the timestamp. Do it yourself. I have things to do, and so do you, but don't get people to do things for you. Figure out stuff on your own, guys. You're better than that. This is pretty much my favorite comment from the Glodka video. More like Sandan Glodka versus a flight of stairs. I really wish I had somehow just done him versus a flight of stairs in the first round. Actually, this should be called not trilogy, but hexology. 6 books all connected by the same characters and plot lines. Okay, I didn't know that. Bit of advice: don't start your responses with actually. It's like an inert thing in people that if you start with actually, you come across very negatively. I think The Office has like a whole joke about that with Oscar, but there's like a real public speaking thing where if you start with actually, people are immediately like, I don't like you. Not saying that I don't, I'm just saying that's how it comes across typically. Glokta could have won the relationship point based off his relationship with Stairs alone. Who would you pit Podon Fane against? Mary Poppins. For your Q&A, have you ever considered writing a story/book/series? Watch my other Q&A videos. Are you ever going to continue with the Malazan series? Absolutely. They're probably next, actually. What is your favorite Cosmere novel? Warbreaker or... yeah, I'd say Warbreaker. Warbreaker. Can you read the Dark Tower series and do a review on it? I certainly can. Will I? I don't really know. I'm not the biggest Stephen King fan, believe it or not. I think he's fine. A bit overhyped, and the Dark Tower, it would be quite a bit for you to jump into. So it is in the future, I will say that, but it's not a priority. And, you know, a year ago, I was saying I'd be getting around to the first Law trilogy, and now I'm getting around to it and finished it. But like, it might take that long for me to get to Dark Tower as well. I know it's really popular now, and for views, I should do it now, but I just don't want to, and this channel is really just a passion project, so fortunately it's not a priority. For Q&A, have you read something from the 40k universe? Any opinion on it? Watch my other Q&As. What characters, if any, from Wheel of Time will be bound to the Horn of Valir? Oh, that's an interesting thought. I would say pretty much everyone in the main party from the Two Rivers, Moraine, Lan, Nynaeve, Matt, Rand, Perrin, they all certainly would. I'd go ahead and throw in Basically everyone from like min level up certainly deserves it. Avienda does. They all have things they do that are definitely worth note of Horde of Valor level. I'd be mad if Oliver was. I've always thought it'd be more interesting if a Horn of Valier was morally gray and it took anyone who just had incredible feats and put them in. So you'd also see people like a Shamael and Landfear thrown in there. But that's not how it is, so they wouldn't be. But just a cool thought. Will you do a character study of Sadius? He's a fascinating villain, kind of gray character. I could. I like Sadius. I think he's a pretty decent villain, but I think that Stormlight focuses much more heavily on his protagonist than antagonists. So I think for future character examinations from Stormlight, which more are coming, I'm going to stick more towards the good guys, just because they have a lot more depth. And while Sadius has some depth to him, not really a long-form video level. You're wrong. You need to look... You're wrong. You need to look, please, guys, punctuation, especially if you're going to insult me, because then it makes it impossible to read. You need to look up what conservatism is about. It's about equality. Progressivism is the authoritarian, read outside your teaching, hate to see you indoctrinated to the cancer of progressivism. As someone who was raised by a gay mom, no, conservatism is not about equality in any way, shape, or form. That's just an absurd thing to put in. Please learn how to write with proper goddamn punctuation before you come in and try to criticize me. Progressivism is authoritarian. I don't believe you can read the way you write. Certainly not reading high caliber if you still write like that. Have you considered doing any more videos specifically discussing magic systems from various series? I find them super fascinating, but not always easy to find a concise summary of. I would be happy to do that if there's demand for it, especially things like Wheel of Time, and maybe even much more soft ones like Game of Thrones, because I find those often to be the most confusing because they're so MacGuffin-y. But certainly, yeah, I'll take that in consideration, and actually I really like that idea, so I'll make that more consistent outside just my Lightbringer one. Spoiler alert for the Wheel of Time. Do you think when Tom dies, he will be bound to the Horn of Heroes? If he doesn't, that horn does not know what it's goddamn talking about. Are you willing to do a loser bracket of the tournament? Like, figure out who's the best loser? I would actually really like that. Probably just like everyone who's knocked out in round one, have them come in, do a loser bracket of 18, 16, however many it would be. That'd be pretty neat. Yeah, that'd be something further down the road, much further down the road. Okay, this is Q&A. You said you did public speaking. Is it motivational talks around schools, conversations, and is it your job mostly besides YouTube? No, I am a software developer. I actually got a degree in communications and public speaking, focusing in rhetoric and digital media. But I went ahead and realized there was no jobs in that field. Man, my hair looks weird. And so I went ahead and taught myself how to code, went to a school to kind of get even better at it. Now I'm a full-time, full-stack software developer for a small company in Alabama, and it's been a great experience so far. And moving to Alabama has certainly been much more different than I thought it would be in the first place. But no, I am a software developer and just using my YouTube channel to keep sharp with what I majored in. I cannot believe you have already shut down 2 Wheel of Time characters. Me neither. This is in regards to Tom and Kelsier's fight. Tom is quite the spy and spy master. He'd be much better at blending in. Also, Tom is an assassin. Kelsier's magicking is little if his throat's slit. Again, these fights are just 2 people starting face to face, 10 feet apart, and just go. I'm not giving Tom the advantage of sneaking up on someone. Also, Kelsier has heightened senses, so he wouldn't be able to do that. And that's just a weird thing to question. Okay, moving on. This is the strangest comment I've ever gotten. Robert Jordan was a war criminal as he volunteered to serve in the U.S. military. How can you like him? Well, I don't like you. Volunteering to serve in the U.S. military by no means makes you a war criminal. Jesus Christ, I can't believe I had to say that. How about a character examination of Elend from Mistborn? I could do that. He's not my favorite by any means, and I found his transition from book to book to be very jolting and almost like a whole new character. I could go into that quite a bit, but I'm not a huge fan of Elend, so it's up in the air whether or not I would actually go ahead and do that for him. I'd say he's very low priority for a character examination. At least it is not as infuriating as the Jaime Lannister beats Randall Thor scenario that George R. R. Martin wrote. Now that was infuriating. He wrote that? George R. R. Martin wrote a thing where Jaime Lannister killed Rand? That's just weird. Are you sure it was him that wrote it and not someone like... It doesn't seem like he'd write that. If someone knows about that, I'll try to Google it myself, but link down below. That is just strange. If Dungeons and Dragons has taught me anything, it's that in the world of magic and dungeons, guns ain't nothing but a thing. Unfortunately, in the real world, a gun, very much so, is a thing. I would happily pit myself with a one-shot pistol against the greatest sword fighter in the world, as long as we start with 15 feet between us. Any day, I'll take that bet. Because that's how guns work, and I'm a decent shot with a gun, and that's all it takes. Unfortunately, swords are way cooler. Don't get me wrong. I'm a much bigger fan of swords in terms of like fighting, but a gun just wins. Doesn't matter if Kip has a gun. If a wolf melted out of the forest and bit down on his arm, preventing him from grabbing it, or hamstrung him. Okay. Once again, I don't think I'm giving Perrin a pack of wolves here. If I did, I'd give Kip the Blackguard, and then they'd slaughter a pack of wolves. Very strange that people keep wanting specific scenarios that give the character they like the edge. This is in regards to my pronunciation of Dandelion's name in The Witcher. It's just Dandelion. I know I was saying Dandelion because the guy in the audiobook was saying Dandelion. I thought that made more sense, but then he switched to Dandelion, and I was like, there's no way this guy's name is Dandelion, but apparently it is. And I'm sure in Polish it sounds way cooler than Dandelion, but yeah, okay, that's a character name, and I have no problem with that whatsoever. What is something you wish you studied in college? I guess I kind of wish I'd already just majored in computer science, so I didn't have to do the additional education afterward, and I could have gotten straight into a job. But I'm really happy with where I am and how things ended up, and the skill set that public speaking has kind of given me. In interviews, I kick ass now. So I don't think by any means I wasted my time. And I think I'm pretty happy with what I studied. I think I wish I had tried to do more theater stuff, just because I do like being in plays and all that, but I focused way too much on outside of class activities. Do you believe in God? Religious views? That is a heck of a personal question, y'all. I'm not. I'm of the opinion that if anyone says they know for sure the answer when it comes to God, one way or the other, they are full of crap. No one knows for sure. Just live this world the best you can. Don't be an asshole and treat others with respect. Don't force your views on others and just be nice. That's my religious and political philosophy summed up in a nice little package for you. Haha, you've read my comment about body theatrics. See here, you did it fine in moderation. I didn't see your comment. I just sometimes have more energy and less energy depending on my day at work. I have a Q for your Q&A, then Q my A, my friend. How fast do you read? To me, it seems like you can read a book within days. I can. I'm a slow reader, mostly because I literally transform everything I read into an animation in my head with full backgrounds, character, noises, and voices. That's fine. That's one way to read it. I'm much more about what the author is presenting. Maybe like a loose interpretation in my head, but I mainly just try to go through and rethink what direct information they're giving me. I think that's why Robert Jordan resonated so much with me, because I don't kind of make full worlds in my head. I just kind of roll with it, with whatever they present, and my god, that guy's level of detail is going to build a world for you in your head. So maybe that's why, but I'm always having audiobooks on in the background while I'm going to sleep, while I wake up in the morning and I'm brushing my teeth, when I'm coding, when I'm at the gym. I don't work out to music, I work out to audiobooks, which is probably weird, but it works for me. I have a question here from Screaming Joker Productions, great name, about the new J.R.R. Tolkien's Shadow book that's coming out. I have not heard anything about it outside of that it's happening, and I'm nervous because touching Tolkien is like touching the Bible of Western fantasy. I don't think it'll ever hurt the original material. I don't think that's possible. I'm not one of these people that if the sequel to original movie sucks, it ruins the original movie for me. That's why I can still like Star Wars after The Last Jedi. But it's just I don't know. I'm not super hyped for it because I'm not sure how much The Lord of the Rings was just a perfect storm or how much of it was just J.R.R. Tolkien being that incredibly good. So it just depends, and I'm always open to it being great, but I'm not super optimistic. So I found the guy's comment about my theatrics and body movements and editing. Yeah, I'm not going to change the way I do things. No offense. Sometimes I have a lot of energy and I want to do weird crap in my videos that kind of make it stand out a little more, and other times I'm more straightforward, like this one probably is because I'm tired and it's 7 a.m. and I woke up at 5. So it just kind of depends on my mood in the day, and if you don't like the editing, I'm sorry, it's not going to go away. Feel free to unsubscribe. That's allowed. And I'm not here to become the next Jake Paul. I'm just here to talk books with people who have good discussion and comments. That's all I really care about. That's why I'm nervous the more my channel grows. Like, I'm happy to have it growing, that's fine, but like if I hit 10,000, which if on the track I am, I should hit by the end of the year, how will the Discord of the conversation continue in the comments? I might just start moderating it more and more and kind of just deleting some more trolly comments that we've been getting recently, especially. But that's just, you know, something I'll have to decide. I'm not really a big fan of censorship, so I might not delete comments and just let you guys be the filter on what gets upvoted and not. But I do want to end on a separate note here. Apparently my channel was discussed at JordanCon, the Wheel of Time convention that happens every year, and I've been asked to attend it, not by anyone specifically in charge, just by people in the comments who go, and I'm happy to go. I'll probably go next year. That sounds great. I'll attend, I'll meet with some of you guys if you'd like. If anyone who is actually involved with planning the convention can reach out to me, or I can reach out to them. I just want to make sure it's okay for me to do that. I don't want to show up and have some people feel like I'm intruding in any way. It would be my first official meetup with some people who watch my channel, so that'd be neat. Please no one shoot me or stab me. That's a legitimate fear of mine. But yeah, I certainly could do that as long as I get permission from people who are involved in JordanCon in a way that, you know, they're okay with me doing that. I don't want to in any way step on anyone's toes, but that should be fun. I'll attend one way or the other, but it'll be maybe more informal or less informal depending on what I get the green light for a lot of those guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, hit the Patreon if you want to support what I do here and help me pay for the gas money on the drive back down to Alabama. And I hope you guys are having a wonderful start to your week, a wonderful end to your week. It's Sunday. Is it Saturday? I don't know. Have a good one, y'all. Peace.